Well, our top story tonight, President Cyril Ramaphosa says while he met with the Gupta brothers on 3 or 4 occasions, the only meeting where matters of substance were discussed was when the brothers requested a meeting with ANC officials to discuss the closure of their bank accounts. Now, this is contained in his affidavit to the State Capture Commission that was made available to the media this afternoon. Ramaphosa says the first 2 meetings were in December 2012 and in 2014 at media briefings hosted by ANC officials, where they only exchanged greetings. Now, in April 2016, he, as part of a group of ANC officials, agreed to a meeting with Tony Gupta, where the closure of the bank accounts was discussed. The president also says he had no interactions that he can remember with African Global Operations head Gavin Watson. To discuss this now, and the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture today, Manqoba Mchunu joins us now. Very good evening to you, Manqoba. Well, making that affidavit public, that was breaking news this afternoon, Manqoba. But of course, I think key to that is that it seems that the president had met with the Guptas.
Well, of course, Crisalda, in a carefully worded statement before the commission that was made public this afternoon, Ramaphosa, of course, admitting that he did meet the Gupta brothers, 2 of them. First of all, after the Mangaung conference, during a TNA SABC breakfast briefing that had been held on the 21st of December, of course, where the whole top 6 of the ANC, which was newly elected at that time, had to come in, and basically it was an engagement between them, and those guests were there. So he says he did meet the Gupta brothers, but insists that, of course, this meeting, there was nothing peculiar to it. It was just a greeting. He says that, it was just formalities, greetings, and the pleasantries. There was nothing beyond that. But he says again, he then met them again through this show, the TNA breakfast show in 2014, following the 2014 elections. And he says again, there was no interactions of any substance from that meeting. But he says where he had a proper interaction with them was with Tony Gupta in April 2016, where, of course, they discussed the issue of the Gupta's bank closures, where they'd raised their frustrations over this. He says Tony Gupta made a representation of what their companies are doing and what it is they've been doing. So he says during this interaction, that's the only time that he can recall where they had a meeting of substance with the Gupta brothers. But beyond that, he says there was nothing peculiar about it. There was nothing that we discussed, beyond just greetings.
Another relationship that could raise the ire of many is also in that affidavit, where, of course, we know the war between the public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane and the president Cyril Ramaphosa currently. He also indicates, he says he has no recollection of meeting Gavin Watson of Bosasa, formerly Bosasa, but he does say that just last year, that Gavin Watson was one of the attendees at the wedding of his son Andile in Uganda. Now, the relationship could sort of be seen to be a very close one between Watson and the Ramaphosas. That could raise the eye of many.
Well, certainly, Crisalda, that could raise many questions. But of course, he maintains in his affidavit that, he doesn't have any personal recollection of, having interacted with him during these meetings. First of all, he says that he says, I have been advised that I may have, met Gavin Watson at a fundraising event, a back-to-school fundraising event, which was held by, among others, the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation to raise funds for, needy schools in impoverished communities. But he says in all of these events, he doesn't have any proper recollection of him actually having any discussion with Gavin Watson. He says also, he then visited the Bosasa offices, the call center, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. He says there too, he met some of the Bosasa officials, but he doesn't have any recollection as to if there were any matters or any discussions that they had at the point. But as far as he's concerned, there was nothing that, untoward about those events that he had attended. But of course, the relationship again, coming into question because of the previous Bosasa, issue that was raised by the public protector with regards to the election fundraising.
Absolutely. Manqoba Mchunu, thank you very much for your time this evening, monitoring the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture for us. Manqoba Mchunu, our reporter here at the SABC. Francis.